Welcome along. It is Thoughts and Comments with me, Andrew Urquhart, and appreciate your feedback to the show. As always, 8168 is the number to text. Start your message with the first word, comments. And hey, our first topic today is something which you may well have an opinion on. How benevolent is our relationship with China? Yes, a major trading partner, and they make all of those cheap plastic goods that get mailed to our doorsteps. They're the good guys, aren't they? Well, perhaps not so much, especially recent signs that China is interfering with governance, not just in other parts of the world, but here in New Zealand as well. Joining me on the program now is Nathan from Pillar, the Protecting Individual Life, Liberty and Rights. Nathan Seiuli, kia ora, thanks for your time today.
Oh, great to be here. Thanks, Andrew.
Our relationship with China now, we have talked about this beforehand. It is, somewhat strained at times, wanting to make the best of it, though. But you've published a very interesting article basically saying it's time to kick the hornet's nest. It's time to recognise the danger to our democratic society and take steps that may have, dramatic consequences. What's led you to this conclusion, Nathan?
Well, we've noticed a real uptick in some of the language and the tone that China's using globally, not just directed at New Zealand, but at other nations like the US, Japan, all around the sovereignty and the democratic nation of Taiwan. Now, the one China policy would have countries subscribe to the idea that China is one nation, including Tibet and Taiwan, and that they wouldn't recognize Taiwan as a sovereign nation. That's why Taiwan doesn't have an embassy here in New Zealand or an official ambassador. They have officials here, but our parliamentarians are discouraged from recognizing them as diplomatic representatives. So we've seen a huge rise in attacks on critical infrastructure, especially through cyber attacks and data hacking and mining, even to places like the White House, which sounds crazy. And we're pretty much at this point of no return, where we actually just have to acknowledge that trade relationships is not a good excuse for ignoring the behavior that China is presenting us with. And it's going to be really hard to disassociate and distance ourselves from them. But if we don't do it now, there is going to be no point or path of return if they keep heading in this direction at this pace.
Is it possible, in your opinion, to have this tough, honest conversation, to say, hey, look, happy to be your friend, but you don't get to tell me who my other friends are? Could we have this type of robust conversation with China, still keep the trade deal, but let's get things out in the open? Is this a bit naive, do you think, Nathan?
Naive, maybe. Optimistic, yes. Hopeful, yes. We have to have it. We have to try. The huge thing that's holding us back right now is not necessarily the implications, although they will be huge.
Yeah.
It's some of the conflict of interest that's tied up with the people who are having these discussions. There's a lot of people right now who are representing our nation who are not actually thinking about us immediately. They're more thinking about what happens after politics, what happens after they're done in the public service, where do they go, what boards can they be available for. And that's actually not representative of what democracy should be. That's not representative of what Kiwis should believe in. So we need to have a hard conversation. And at the moment, we're just too happy to ignore what the other C in CCP stands for. We shouldn't be supporting a communist nation. We should be standing for democracy and championing democracy around the world wherever it happens. And we just need to push back now before it's far too late, which the time's coming pretty close where we think it will be too late.
Honestly, sovereignty is important. We don't want a foreign power interfering with our sovereignty, although sometimes relationship involves compromise. Having said that, though, that relationship goes both ways. Just because a government has a country has a different form of government, a different society structure, doesn't mean that we should say, oh, you have to be the same as us, otherwise we can't be friends.
Absolutely. We're not looking for them to be beholden to our views. But that's actually not what they're looking to from us as well. When their ambassadors are writing letters to our MPs saying you need to apologize right now for who you've associated with and what you're doing, based on information that, by the way, was leaked to them by a spy that they've had infiltrate our nation.
Wow.
That's something we should take actually really seriously. We're not standing here telling China that they have to abide by our rules in order to engage with us, but they're doing it to us.
Yeah.
So it's quite hypocritical if we don't push back even a little bit and champion democracy, as I've been saying, because that's what we're supposed to be on the world stage. We're supposed to be champions of democracy. New Zealand is a democratic nation. We should be celebrating, defending, and advancing this wherever we can.
Yeah, certainly. Now, you've got a specific proposal in place just to bring some transparency into what type of relationships there are. and what type of strings may be attached, where the conflict of interest may be between some of our politicians, some of our public servants, those democratically elected and working behind the scenes, as to what type of relationships they do have with China. This is your proverbial kicking the hornet's nest, is it, Nathan?
Absolutely. Look, we think that there should be a system in place that people who are working in our government, working for our government, representing our people, businesses, individuals, whatever you want to call it, MPs, organizations, they should have to disclose any foreign interest, not just with China. Let me make that super clear as well. This is not an all-out attack on China. Russia, Iran, North Korea. There are many nations in which people are involved with dealings and tradings and networking that actually has an impact on their politics here in New Zealand. We would like to implement what we're calling the foreign the foreign interest registry scheme. We've got cross-party support already. We're meeting with a handful of MPs in December to see if anyone wants to carry this forward for us. But we also have a bunch of civilian advocates who have had personal experiences with foreign interference who are willing to face or be the face of this as well. So we're going to put that on the table. We're going to draft the legislation. We're going to give them everything they need to run this into our parliament. They tried to do a similar thing in the UK. They effectively fell short because of the amount of interference and sort of compromised interest that's in their parliament. We're hoping in New Zealand to get a better response.
And honestly, whichever way this goes, it is shining a light in this one, because you'll be able to see who is perhaps being influenced, because those are the ones that won't be keen to sign up to this in some ways. You'll get pushback from those people who perhaps are already compromised.
We've already been told the chances of party leadership shooting this thing down pretty early is reasonably high. But that shouldn't stop us or deter us from actually trying to shine a light here. And there are individuals in our government and in our parliament who really want something like this. So you are right. It's sort of smoking out those who don't want to put their credibility or their weight on it, and then asking them, why not? What are you actually harboring behind the scenes? What are your other interests there? This is why we need the registry. This is why we need people to disclose what are your conflicting interests. Where's this money coming from? There's a lot of Chinese money. There's a lot of foreign money tied up in New Zealand politics. And we actually need to ask why. What are they pushing? Is it no strings attached? Or is there actually an agreement and a handshake that comes along with these donations?
Yeah, exactly. And we already have some control mechanisms, I suppose, some transparency in Parliament. If people are on boards or have shareholding in significant sectors of society, we get to know how many rental properties various MPs have. That's an interesting read, by the way. But so this is really just extending that spirit of transparency and pushing against some of the perceptions of corruption that we've seen recently. If anything, politicians have everything to gain in terms of public perception and public trust in this sector.
100%. The more I learn about our system, the more I work with different people in politics, the more I realize that politics draws a very interesting type of person, right? I asked this question of our team the other day. Is it power that corrupts, or is it power that attracts people who are corrupted? Now, it's a question worthwhile asking, because I think there are great people out there who should be in these offices, who should be in these positions of leadership in our public service. Why are they not, though? I think a lot of them are just focused on trying to be great people, leading their businesses. We need to get these people into the right positions, and we need to get the wrong people out. The only way we can figure out who's who is if we have transparency across the board. So you're right. Who owns how many properties? Everyone loves to read about that. We should be more interested, though, in who's taking money from Qatar, Iran, Russia, and China, because that is actually a huge, huge indicator on whether they're focused on New Zealand now or their future tomorrow.
Hey, very much appreciate the work that you do. And hey, as you say, kicking the hornet's nest, you're going to get some stings on this one, Nathan. So good on you for your boldness and your vision in this area. If people wanted to find out more, if they wanted to connect with what you guys are doing at Pillar and in this project in particular, what's the best way of doing that?
Yeah, so we're on every social channel. Our handle's @pillar_NZ, or you can visit our website to see all of our media news and updates. That's www.nzpillar.com. So reach out, say hi. We'd love to talk to you.
Thanks, Nathan. Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.